The day I went to try on my wedding dress, my sister Sierra Clark said she wanted to help me pick it out. I came out of the fitting room, and there she was fixing my fiancé Logan Hughes's bow tie. I was about to say, "I'll do that," when the makeup artist smiled and walked right past me toward her. "The bride's over here." They exchanged a little smile. My childhood best friend Jordan Simmons, who was supposed to be taking my wedding photos, brushed past me without a second look. Nearly 100 photos. And every single one was my sister and my fiancé. Not one shot of me, the bride. I just stood there, frozen. When we were kids playing house, Jordan and Sierra always played the groom and bride. I threw the flower petals. When I grew up and got a fiancé, the three of them laughed and shoved each other around. I held the bags. "Hey, Nora, can you grab that bouquet for me?" Logan saw I wasn't saying anything. He walked over and gently pulled the flowers out of my hands. "What's wrong, Nora?" he said softly. "Go pick out some invitation samples. I'll come find you after I'm done with photos." Jordan held up his camera and peeked out from behind the viewfinder with one eye. "Nora, move over a couple steps. You're blocking the light." I moved. Quietly. I stood in the corner. That's when it hit me. I was extra. Since this wedding didn't actually need me, I wouldn't show up either. I picked up my bag from the bench by the door and pushed it open. The wind chime rang once. No one called after me. I looked back. Sierra was twirling in front of the mirror. Logan stood behind her, fixing the bow on her waist. Jordan raised his camera. "Yeah, right there, perfect angle." The shutter clicked 5 or 6 times in a row. I turned around and walked out of the shop. When I got in the car, my phone screen lit up. A message from the wedding planner. "Miss Clark, the wedding's coming up. Have you picked an invitation design yet?" Before I could reply, another one popped up. "Or you can have your sister choose for you. She has great taste." The car was quiet. Quiet enough that I could hear myself breathe. One breath at a time. Like I was counting something. What was I counting? How many times I'd been forgotten in this relationship? Overlooked? I typed 3 words. Let her decide. And I meant it. At the end of the day, Logan would listen to her anyway. They replied instantly. "Got it, thank you." I stared at those 4 words and figured they were probably relieved. No more back and forth with the indecisive bride. So much easier. Before I could put my phone down, messages started pouring in. Jordan was uploading photos to the group chat one after another. I opened one full screen. Jordan's composition was beautiful, light falling across their faces like a bridal ad. I let out a bitter laugh. When I was a kid playing house, I used to envy whoever got to be the bride. Then I met Logan, and I thought, finally, I get to be a real bride for once. I put everything into this wedding. Every little thing. Like it was my one and only proof that I deserved to be the lead for once. I never thought, at the end of it all, I'd still get pushed outside the frame. I brought my sister this time because she's the closest person I have. And trying on a wedding dress, that's serious, right? There should only be one bride and one groom in those photos. And I was the bride. What could possibly go wrong? Same story. My phone screen kept lighting up and going dark, lighting up and going dark. Message after message in the group. I didn't reply. No one noticed. I drove back to my apartment. On the fridge was a sticky note I'd written. 7 days until the wedding. I peeled it off gently, crumpled it, and threw it in the trash. The next day, I finally rolled over and checked my phone. The wedding group chat was blowing up. I saw the voice message Sierra had tagged me in. I hesitated, then hit play. "Hey Nora, so I went ahead and changed the processional song for you. The one you picked was way too depressing. It's a wedding, it's supposed to be fun." Right after that, a text from Logan. "Yeah, the original one wasn't right." The original one? The one I spent a month picking. Every time I listened to it, my eyes would sting. It was the song my parents danced to at their wedding. They left too early. I thought this way, they could still be there in some small way. Logan knew. Sierra knew. And they still thought it was too depressing. In the group, Sierra kept going. "Nora doesn't really have strong opinions about this stuff anyway. We can just decide for her." Logan replied with one word. "Yeah." I stared at that, yeah. Didn't move. Message after message scrolled by like running water. No one noticed that Nora was in the group. That Nora wasn't saying anything. My participation in this wedding was zero. I opened my chat with Logan. The last conversation was from yesterday after the dress fitting. I said, I'm kind of nervous. He sent back a pat on the head emoji. Nothing after that. About me leaving early, he didn't even text me privately to ask what was wrong. He just tagged me in the group last night. What's up? Left early because you're nervous. No one answered. No one cared. Sierra posted a photo with the caption, successful dress fitting today. The dress is locked in. And that was that. Then they moved on to flowers, invitations, backdrops. I suddenly realized I wasn't just extra. Being extra at least means you existed once. I felt like I'd never been there at all. While I was packing, Sierra video called me. I picked up. On her screen, someone was doing her makeup. Nora, you're taking forever. You still haven't booked a makeup artist, so I went ahead and hired a team for you. I'm doing a trial run for you right now. I watched Sierra sit in front of the mirror. I wanted to say something, but I didn't even know where to start. I wanted to tell her I said my friend is doing my bridal makeup 2 weeks ago. Or ask her, has anyone ever asked me what I actually want? But it didn't even matter anymore. Had I not spoken up before? Had I not been unhappy before? Had I not stood up for myself before? I had. All they ever said was, you're the older sister. Be nice to her. Jordan was my friend. My childhood best friend. And he always took her side. When Logan first pursued me, he said I was cute because I was quiet and a little spacey. I thought he liked me for being that way. But after he met Sierra, his type seemed to change. He started saying girls should be outgoing. Opinionated. One day I finally said, can you not be so close with Sierra all the time? I've always spoiled my sister. He should have known how much it cost me to even ask. But he brushed it off. He just laughed and ruffled my hair. She's your sister. You want me to treat her like a stranger? I shut up. Of course, I didn't want them to be enemies. I'd been the one holding everything together for years. For the first time, I felt like I couldn't breathe. They forgot I was only 2 years older than her. I wanted candy too. I wanted someone to ask me, do you like this? A slice of sunlight fell on the floor. I suddenly remembered how after every game of house when we were kids, I'd pick up all the flower petals by myself and put them back in the basket. They'd already left. No one ever helped me. No one ever asked me if I was tired. I called my landlord and told him I was moving out today. He paused. You sure? You've been here over 4 years. For years. When Logan and I first started dating, he wanted me to move in with him. Sierra said it was bad luck to live together before marriage. I figured I should keep my own space too. So I rented a place near his office so I could see him more. He agreed. He stayed over once in a while. This apartment held the evidence of us loving each other, fighting, being silent, and too many times of him leaving in a hurry. Yeah, moving today, I said. He sighed and told me to leave the keys in the mailbox. Not long after I hung up, the door pushed open from the outside. Logan and Sierra walked in together, one after the other. Sierra turned back and smiled at him. Remember? You promised me the room with the bay window in your guy's house. But I want pink curtains. I was standing in the middle of the living room. I thought I'd heard wrong. She said it so naturally, like moving into the same house, sharing the same marital home, was just common sense. Logan didn't argue. He smiled indulgently. As long as your sister's okay with it. She spoils me. Why would she have a problem with it? I stood there. Then something in my throat loosened. What if I said I'm not okay with it? The air went quiet for 2 seconds. Sierra froze. Maybe because it was the first time I'd ever told her no. Before she could even speak, her eyes got a little red. Logan's voice dropped. Nora, what's your problem? You'd give her the shirt off your back any other day, and now you're gonna pick a fight over a room. I'm not fighting, I said. Then what's your problem? He frowned. So what if Sierra moves in? She's your sister, not a stranger. That house is huge. Rooms are just sitting empty. It's our wedding house, I said. Is she marrying you? Logan choked on that for a second. Sierra's eyes welled up. Nora, I just wanted to be close to you. Never mind. I won't move in. Logan looked at her, then at me. See? You're making her feel awful. She's a girl. She's your sister. Can't you think about her for once? Then who thinks about me? I lifted my head. You gave her a high-paying, stable job. She doesn't have to worry about anything. And me? I only have Dash. Enough. Logan's face changed. He stepped forward. Be reasonable. She's your sister. I only helped her because of you. You're really gonna nickel and dime this. Nickel and dime. I laughed a little. Then I didn't say anything. Sierra tugged his sleeve. Logan, stop. Nora's probably just in a bad mood. He patted her hand. His voice softened. Nora, I've already decided. Sierra moving in is a good thing. You two won't have to be apart. I nodded. Fine. It's your wedding house anyway. Your home. I won't be living in it. Logan let out a breath. Sierra wiped her eyes and smiled at him. I turned around and went back to packing. Behind me, Sierra's voice. So can I really change the curtains to pink? Logan laughed. Whatever you want. That afternoon, I went to Logan's office. In my bag were his key card, his office keys, and a client file he'd asked me to organize. The receptionist smiled. Hey, Nora. I'll tell Mr. Hughes you're here. Don't bother. I put the bag on her desk. Just give him this for me. Then I turned and walked out. At the stairwell, I accidentally overheard Logan's voice. My footsteps slowed. Saturday? Yeah, I'll take you to get your nails done. My fingers went stiff. Then his voice came through the half-open door again, laughing. I know. You want to look perfect for the wedding. I'll take you. Don't worry about your sister. I'll handle her. I laughed bitterly. I'd already decided to let go. So why was I still hoping? We'd promised to do something before the wedding. Something we never got around to when we were dating. Watch a sunrise together. He'd promised me last winter. Pushed it to spring. Then right before the wedding. We finally set it for this Saturday. Now it was pushed again. I didn't stay to listen. I went down the stairs, pushed through the glass door, and drove straight back to Milbrook. The next day, I was cleaning when my aunt came by. Nora, honey, take a break. I shook my head and said I was almost done. She took my hand and patted it. You've had it hard all these years. Being the older sister. My aunt sighed, like she'd been holding this in for a long time. Sierra's adopted. Everyone knows that. But you've treated her like a real sister. Given her everything. And that girl doesn't hold back either. She wiped the corner of her eye. The family's always known. Nobody wanted to say anything because they didn't want to upset you. But it's okay now. You two are grown. You're getting married. You've made it through. I smiled. Didn't say anything. After a while, I said, Aunt, you and Uncle should move in here. A house falls apart if nobody lives in it. She blinked. Why wouldn't anyone live in it? You'll still come back after you're married. She laughed. I know you and Logan have a big house in the city, but you still need a place to stay when you visit. I said okay, but I kept insisting they move in. She thought I was just being polite. Made a few excuses. I didn't explain. I just thought once I leave, who knows how many years before I come back. That evening, Logan stopped by my uncle's house to drop something off before the wedding. Sierra followed behind him, smiling. When they saw me, both of them looked genuinely surprised. Nora? What are you doing here? His tone made it sound like I shouldn't be in this place. But I was the bride. I was at my uncle's house. Wasn't that normal? Oh, he was probably just used to it by now. It didn't matter whether I was there. As long as Sierra was. Sierra looped her arm through mine. Hey, perfect timing. Logan came to see Uncle. I didn't have anything else to do, so I tagged along. I didn't say anything. Sierra never liked Milbrook. She almost never came back. With the wedding so close, she actually showed up. I was surprised. Maybe for me. Maybe for something else. It didn't matter anymore. In the living room, my uncle made small talk with Logan. Sierra sat next to Logan. Handed him tea. Answered for him. I was like a piece of extra furniture. Sitting there. No one looked at me twice. I glanced at my phone. He'd sent me a message. Been busy with wedding stuff. I know I've been ignoring you. But why'd you go back to Milbrook without telling me? Ignoring? That tone sounded more like he thought I was being difficult. Running off on my own. He was always active in the group chat. Rarely texted me directly. Rarely asked me, eat yet? Or, what are you doing? Or, are you alright? So he didn't know I'd gone to his office. Didn't know I'd come back here. Because he never asked. I typed 2 words back. You're busy. Anyway, the stuff you're busy with stopped having anything to do with me a long time ago. The visit wound down. My uncle stood up to see them out. You know the tradition, bad luck for the groom to see the bride before the ceremony, my uncle said. So you stay away from Nora until the wedding. For good luck. Logan nodded. My uncle looked at me. Nora, you go back to the city with them. Wait there for the wedding. No point driving back and forth. You'll come back here for the post-wedding visit. I wanted to say no, but the look in his eyes made me swallow it. I went to grab my suitcase. I checked and I didn't forget anything. But when I walked out of the yard, Logan's car was already gone. I stood at the gate for 2 seconds. I looked at my phone. A message from Logan. Sierra wanted to see the wedding venue set up. I took her there first. Forgot you were here too for a sec. Drive yourself back. Forgot? Logan. How do you keep forgetting me? I walked to the end of the village road and caught a ride with a passing car. The wedding was 3 days later. Monday. Logan looked at his GPS, then turned to Sierra. The address for the hotel, that's where Nora's staying, right? Yeah, I sent it to her a while ago. Nice place. High-end. Close to your apartment too. Easier than driving all the way to hers. Logan nodded. You're really on top of things. Not like your sister, that brick. You know the whole bad luck to see the bride before the ceremony thing? She's been ghosting me for days because of it. Logan opened the car door. Sierra slid naturally into the passenger seat. Let's go. She's gonna start texting asking where we are. From outside the car, Jordan's voice. Sierra, that's where the bride sits. Ride with me. No way. Sierra made a face at him. Logan's a better driver. I won't get carsick. Logan shook his head with a laugh. What am I gonna do with you? The car pulled into the hotel entrance. Logan walked in first. Sierra stayed close beside him. Jordan held up his camera and snapped a few shots out of habit. The front desk clerk stopped them politely. Hi, who are you here for? Picking up the bride. Logan gave the room number. 302. The bride's name is Nora Clark. The clerk checked the system, then looked up. I'm sorry. That room hasn't been checked into. Logan froze. He turned to look at Sierra. What do you mean? Sierra rushed forward. Check again. 302. Nora Clark. The clerk glanced at the screen again and shook her head. It's definitely not checked in. Oh my God. Sierra's voice got sharp. Did she go to the wrong hotel? Whose wedding is this? Hers or mine? How can she be that careless? Logan sighed. He pulled out his phone and called. It rang a few times. No answer. Voice calls, video calls, nothing. Messages dropped into the chat like stones into a deep well. He'd sent over a dozen. Not a single reply. She's not picking up. Logan's forehead creased. Sierra stood next to him. What is she doing? It's the wedding day. Is she throwing a tantrum again? Jordan peered from behind his camera. What's wrong with her? She left the dress fitting early too. Didn't tell anyone. But this is the wedding, Sierra mumbled. She can't just do this. She's making Logan look bad. Logan's frown got deeper. He called my aunt. She picked up fast. Logan? Did you get the bride? Aunt, Nora's not at the hotel. Is she with you? No. Didn't she go back to the city to wait? My aunt sounded confused. Look, the bride's sister is supposed to stay with her the night before the wedding. That's just what we do. None of us older folks go to her. We'll see her at the wedding. Ask Sierra, she knows. Logan looked over at Sierra. She'd know? How would she know? Sierra had been with them all day yesterday. Lunch. Drinks in the afternoon. Then a bachelorette night that went past 1 in the morning. She'd been in his sight the whole time. Never left. But if Sierra hadn't been with Nora, then Nora had spent the day before her wedding alone? Alone. Yesterday he'd texted Nora. Asked where she was. If she was nervous. She didn't reply. He didn't push. He figured she was just following that old tradition about not communicating with the groom. A guilty feeling crept up on him. Some vague sense that he'd done something wrong. He didn't want to admit it yet. My aunt's voice sharpened on the other end. What do you mean? Sierra wasn't with her? We told her exactly what to do to help. That girl, she's so careless. Logan didn't answer. He hung up and stood in the lobby. His head was a mess. Let's go. Logan put his phone away. We'll go to her apartment. She's probably mad that I didn't wait for her last time at her uncle's. Now that he thought about it, he had ignored her feelings. What would people in the village say the groom leaving without the bride? Sierra followed him. 2 steps and she suddenly slapped her forehead. Oh my God. My dress is still in the car. I left it at home. Logan stopped walking and turned. What dress? Nora's wedding dress. I was in such a rush I forgot it. Logan suddenly realized something was wrong. No bride at the pickup spot. And a wedding dress, that's the bride's thing. But picking it up, taking it home, storing it, none of those steps seemed to involve the bride. Sierra had taken the dress, hung it in her own closet, then forgotten it. He'd never asked why she kept the dress at her place. She'd never offered to give it back. Logan frowned. Get in, he said. We'll go get it. Then her apartment. The car started, pulled out of the parking lot. Logan gripped the wheel. His phone was on the mount, the screen still lit. Nora's chat sat silent. What was wrong with her? She wanted to be a bride so badly. Wanted to be the lead in her own life for once. He was giving her that. So why was she the one hiding? After he picked up the dress, Logan didn't start the car right away. He sat there with his hands on the wheel. Quiet for a few seconds. Then he spoke. Wait. Sierra's hand paused on her seatbelt. When we get there, Logan said, you're going to apologize to your sister. What? Sierra thought she'd heard wrong. Apologize. He said it again. Not harsh, but not open for debate. Sierra's face scrunched. Why? For what? I've been running around doing everything for this wedding. And she's the one throwing a tantrum and disappearing. I have to apologize. Logan turned to look at her. Running around? He said each word slowly. You ran around so much you didn't even know what hotel she was at. Her dress is in your closet. What's she supposed to wear? And the makeup artist. Did you even book one? Sierra opened her mouth. Her voice got small. The makeup artist. I told them to just meet at the hotel. But they said there was no bride. Logan's face went cold. Sierra. He said her name. Do you even want her to marry me? The car got very quiet. Sierra looked down. Fiddled with her seatbelt. Her lips moved. After a long moment, she finally spoke. What if I said, I want her to marry someone? Just not you. Logan stared at her. Sierra looked back at him. Her eyes were red. There was something in them he couldn't name. Logan didn't answer that. He looked away. Started the car. That room with the bay window, he said as he backed out. We agreed that was going to be your sister's study. You're not a kid anymore. You have your own money. You don't need to live with her. But Sierra's voice cracked. She already said yes. Logan didn't respond. They drove all the way to the apartment building. Logan parked. The 3 of them went up. Nobody spoke in the elevator. Sierra stood in the corner. Jordan leaned against the wall, raised his camera, then lowered it. Logan knocked. 1, 2, 3 times. The door opened. Nora, Logan's eyes went wide. A guy. Late 20s. Good looking. His hair was a little wet, like he'd just showered. He leaned against the door frame. Can I help you? Who are you? Logan stepped forward, eyes sharp. What are you doing in her apartment? What's your relationship with her? He couldn't wrap his head around it. His quiet, spacey fiancé hiding a guy in her place? How long has this been going on? Get Nora out here. Sierra stood behind Logan. Is Nora with someone else now? That sentence hit like a needle. Logan's face turned purple. He shoved the door open. Stalked through every room. Searched everywhere. Nobody. What are you looking for? The guy stood in the living room, watching Logan tear around like a headless chicken. Finally, he spoke. She moved out a while ago. Logan spun around. Moved out? I'm the new tenant. Nora sublet the place to me. The air went completely still. Logan stood there frozen. His chest was full of something sour and swollen. He didn't know where to put it. He stood for a few seconds, then his voice dropped. Did she say where she was going? No, the guy shook his head. When I got here, the place was empty. Logan stood there, his head buzzing. Sierra tugged his sleeve. Logan, Nora. He jerked his arm away and walked out. The hallway was empty. He pulled out his phone and dialed Nora's number. Still off. Before, when he couldn't reach her, he'd blamed the tradition. The no-contact rule. Now he couldn't reach her and panic set in. He stared at the name on his screen. It felt unfamiliar. The wedding was days away. He didn't know where she was. Didn't know when she'd moved out. Didn't know why she'd sublet her apartment. He didn't know anything. She'd always been so undemanding. So easy. And now she'd left him completely lost. Sierra came up behind him. Maybe she just freaked out. Should we check Milbrook? Uncle might know where she is. Logan didn't answer. He put his phone in his pocket and pressed the elevator button. As soon as he got outside the apartment building, Logan called his assistant. Did Nora come by the office? There was a pause. Yeah, she did. Last Thursday afternoon. She left some things with the front desk. I meant to tell you, but you've been so busy. Logan hung up. Got in the car. Started the engine. Sierra was still pulling the back door open when the car lurched forward. He tore into the company parking lot and basically ran inside. His assistant silently handed him a bag. Logan opened it. The key card to their wedding house. His office keys. The client file. And a sticky note. One line. These are yours now. Thank you. Thank you? Logan crumpled the paper in his hand. What was that supposed to mean? Had she already decided back then that she wasn't going through with this wedding? His phone wouldn't stop buzzing. A few calls from Sierra. He didn't pick up. A text from Jordan. We should go to her hometown. We can still make it. Logan didn't reply. Too late. The thought hit him out of nowhere. He closed his eyes. A flood of things came rushing back. In the month they'd been planning the wedding, how many times had she spoken up? How many times had she said, I want? And yet somehow, Sierra had ended up deciding everything. Even the dress. She'd just gone to get measured. And then the dress ended up at Sierra's place. She wouldn't mind. She never minded. But why? Why did her not minding mean nobody had to ask her? He found that old song she'd picked for the ceremony. Put on his headphones. Pressed play. The intro was soft. Like water. He didn't catch any of the lyrics, but the melody made his chest ache. She'd spent a whole month choosing it. Sierra said it was depressing and swapped it out. She had a right to be mad. Didn't she? Logan took off his headphones and called my aunt. Aunt Nora. Is she in Milbrook or not? My aunt sounded frantic. No. I just tried her phone, it's off. What's going on out there? The bride's missing. I'll find her, Logan said, and hung up. Downstairs, Sierra and Jordan arrived. They stood in the lobby. Sierra's eyes were red. Jordan spoke up. Logan. I just realized something. He swallowed. The wedding photos I took, she's barely in them. Logan looked at him. Jordan scrolled through his camera. One image after another. That day at the dress fitting. Nora had stepped out of the fitting room in her gown and stood in front of the mirror. But he'd taken photos of Sierra and Logan together. A video of Sierra twirling. A close-up of Logan adjusting her bow. Do you think she's mad at me? Jordan looked up confused. I feel like I was always just taking pictures of you two. Logan looked at him. Said nothing. The three of them stood in the lobby. No one moved. A long silence. Then Sierra spoke. Maybe we should try something else? Logan turned to look at her. Nora's gone, Sierra said, her voice testing the idea. But the wedding still needs a bride, right? What if you and I just stood in for her? And when she gets mad, she'll come out. Then we'll know where she is. Jordan blinked, then nodded. That's actually smart. And I have tons of photos of you two already. We could pull it off, no problem. Logan stopped listening. He was looking at Sierra's face. Something about her expression felt unfamiliar. Her sister disappeared on her wedding day. And she wasn't worried. She didn't panic. Just expectant. In a quiet way. He thought about all the plans she'd changed. Every time, Nora doesn't mind. Every time it turned into exactly what Sierra wanted. All she had to do was act sweet and capable in front of him. Make him think she's more reliable than her sister. And things would naturally go her way. And he'd bought it. Completely. Logan shook his head. No. Sierra's smile faltered. We look for her first, Logan said. Every place we can think of. They split up and made 100 phone calls. Nora's coworkers said she'd quit. Handed in her notice last week. Her landlord said she'd moved out. Already got her deposit back. My aunt was running around Milbrook, calling every relative. No one had seen her. She'd vanished. Like she'd never existed. No trace. Told no one. Not even a "I'm leaving." Logan sat in his car. His phone screen lit up and went dark. Lit up and went dark. He scrolled through his contacts again and again. Called everyone who might know where she was. Thought of every place she could be. She didn't want to be found. The thought hit him like a bucket of ice water. This was worse than fighting. Fighting at least means you still care. The silent treatment at least means you're still angry. But she left nothing. Couldn't even be bothered to say, "We're done." She just disappeared, quiet and clean, like she'd never been part of his life at all. She gave up the apartment. Returned his things. Quit her job. Wiped out everything that had to do with him. She didn't want him anymore. Nora came back on a summer evening. She dragged a single suitcase out of the arrival hall and looked up at the sky. Milbrook's sky. Gray-blue, with a few clouds drifting slowly. She smiled. 8 years. She'd been everywhere. The northern lights in Iceland. The stars over New Zealand. Hot air balloons in Turkey. The savannah in Africa. She got her dive certification. Learned to surf. Learned to snowboard. Spent 3 months in Thailand, waking up early every day to feed the stray cats. 6 months in a small town by a lake with 2 dogs, 3 cats, and a fish tank in the yard. She did everything she'd once wanted to do with him, everything they'd never gotten around to. Watched a sunrise alone. Rode a Ferris wheel alone. She used to think she'd never do any of it. Turns out, whether you can do something has nothing to do with whether you have someone next to you. Logan hadn't married anyone in 8 years. News of the canceled wedding had spread fast through Milbrook. Relatives talked for a few days, then slowly stopped bringing it up. He never explained why the bride disappeared. He went to work. Came home. Overtime sometimes. Business trips sometimes. His company kept growing. The office moved 3 times. Got bigger. Emptier. He never let Sierra sit in his passenger seat again. Never saw her alone again. Work stuff went through his assistant. Family gatherings, he dodged them when he could. When Sierra came to his office, the front desk stopped her. "Mr. Hughes is in a meeting." When she called his phone, 8 times out of 10 his assistant picked up. "He's not available right now." "Logan, what is your problem?" Sierra cried on the phone once. "Keeping my distance," he said. 2 words. "From what?" "I'm your fiancé's sister." "You were," Logan said, very evenly. "Not anymore. She's gone. I don't have any relationship with you." Sierra froze. It had probably never occurred to her that the way Logan treated her, all that care, all that attention, was only ever because of Nora. Not because she was cute. Not because she was smart. Not because she was reliable. Because she was his fiancé's little sister. He loved Nora, so he took care of Nora's family. Once Nora was gone, none of them mattered anymore. "I don't believe you." She started crying. He hung up. Without Logan's favoritism, Sierra's life at work got harder. Her position had been a personal favor from Logan. Her salary was way above her level. Her workload was light. Once he stopped paying attention, her department head restructured her role. Cut her pay in half. Doubled her work. She tried to see Logan a few times. Never got through. Eventually, she got laid off in a round of cuts. She'd always thought she'd earned her spot. She never knew that job, that position, that pay. Her sister had asked for every bit of it. Nora had asked Logan again and again. "My sister's really talented. She just needs a chance. Help her out. She's on her own." If she could work at your company, I'd feel so much better. He'd paved the whole road. She thought she'd paved it herself. The family drama was even uglier. After the wedding was called off, my aunt went straight to Sierra. What did you do? Why did Nora leave? Sierra said she didn't know. My aunt didn't believe her. Finally, someone just came out and said it. Your sister begged all of us to keep quiet about it. She said the truth would wreck you. Make you feel like you didn't belong. She thought of everything for you. And what did you do to her? You're not really a Clark. Your real dad killed Nora's grandfather. The Clarks called the police. He got life in prison. Your mom died in childbirth. You were a baby. Nobody wanted you. Nora's parents were good people. They took you in and raised you like their own. For years, your sister gave you everything. Took every hit for you. She never did a single thing wrong. She didn't owe you a damn thing. Sierra's face went white. Her mouth hung open. No sound came out. She wanted to say that's not true, but her voice was gone. Like someone had their hand around her throat. A killer. Her real father was a killer. And he killed Nora's grandfather. Her lips trembled. Tears poured down her face. She thought about every piece of candy Nora had given her. Every piece of clothing. Every time she'd gotten the first pick. She thought about the way my aunt would hesitate before speaking. The way all the relatives would go quiet. They all knew. Only she didn't. All those years of Nora giving in. All those times she'd thought she deserved it. It wasn't because she was worth it. It was because she was pitiful. Once that story got out, no one felt sorry for her anymore. That girl's father killed their family. They raised her for 20 years. And this is how she repays them, by stealing her sister's man and driving her sister away. Sierra said she didn't steal anyone. Didn't drive anyone away. No one believed her. The way her relatives looked at her changed. The warmth. The closeness. The holiday invitations. All of it disappeared. Nobody called her for the holidays. Nobody told her about weddings or funerals. She didn't have a home anymore. Jordan regretted it forever. Nora had asked him to shoot her wedding. She was so happy. Paid him well. And she appeared in maybe 10 of the photos. Not a single one of her face. He got so mad he threw his camera on the ground. He sent Nora a message. I'm sorry. But deep down, he knew she'd never see it. She was gone for 8 years. Logan waited for 8 years. He didn't know if she'd ever come back. Didn't know if she'd even look at him if she did. But he waited. Carefully. Quietly. Until his assistant finally brought him good news. Mr. Hughes, airport security, thinks they spotted Miss Clark. Logan shot up from his chair. The elevator was too slow. He ran down the stairs. 15 floors. By the last 2, his legs were shaking. He was afraid he'd get there too late and she'd be gone again. The highway wasn't too crowded. GPS said 40 more minutes. It felt like forever. He had so much he wanted to say. 8 years worth of words saved up. He was afraid she'd walk away as soon as he said them. Afraid she'd say, I don't care anymore. Even more afraid she wouldn't want to see him at all. He started thinking, what should the first words be? Welcome back? I'm sorry? I missed you? No. What he owed her couldn't be paid back in one sentence. He didn't want to admit it, but after he'd chased her down and won her, someone else had slipped into his line of sight without him even noticing. And after that, he'd never once asked her, do you want this? Even so, she'd held his life together. Kept his family happy. Dealt with his relatives. Remembered every date he forgot. She wasn't brilliant. But she was steady. Real. There were deals that were about to fall apart, and she'd sat across from clients, cup after cup of coffee, just talking. And by the end, they'd say, your fiancé's got way more sense than you. She never bragged about it. Never showed up at his office to make him look good. She held down the home front. Let him run without looking back. And back then, he just thought, that's how it should be. He never asked, are you tired? Even when he let her down in the end, she didn't scream. Didn't tear anything apart / didn't say one bad word about him to anyone. She just quietly gave his things back and disappeared from everyone's life. Even her leaving was graceful. The lights in the tunnel flashed across his face. Light, dark, light, dark. He started wondering again 8 years. What did she look like now? Did she still love barbecue ribs? Did she still sit by the window and stare at nothing? Did she still love that old song? Before he knew it, he was in Milbrook. He knew she'd come back to see her uncle and aunt. He waited at the village entrance for 3 days. Then he saw her, a figure dragging a suitcase, walking up the dirt road. She was thinner, tan. Her face was calm, like she was thinking about something. Or nothing. Her pace was unhurried, like there was nowhere she had to be. Logan got out of the car and stood in the middle of the road. Nora looked up and saw him. She stopped for a second and looked at him. "You're back," Logan said. His voice came out rougher than he expected. "Yeah." After a moment, she said, "How have you been?" Logan almost laughed. How had he been? He'd waited 8 years. Thought about her every single day. Kept their wedding house empty for 8 years. Gone everywhere she might have gone. He wasn't fine. Not even close. But he nodded. All right. They stood on the dirt road. The sun stretched their shadows long. Logan didn't know what to say. All those years of saved up words gone. The last 8 years you dash. I went to a lot of places, Nora said. Iceland. New Zealand. Turkey. I learned to dive. Got my certification. You used to say you wanted to watch the sunset on a beach, Logan said. Nora smiled a little. Very soft. Yeah, I did. It was beautiful. Another silence. Logan opened his mouth. Sorry. I missed you. Can we try again? But the words got stuck. Nora. He said her name. She looked up. I'm sorry. 3 words. When he said them, his eyes went red. I didn't take care of you. I made you feel like nothing. I should have asked. I should have listened. I should have dash. He couldn't finish. Nora listened quietly. Then, looked down at the shadows on the ground. After a moment, she looked up and smiled. Logan, I don't blame you anymore. Really. I thought a lot over these 8 years. She spoke slowly. I used to think I wasn't good enough. Not smart enough. Not pretty enough. Not interesting enough. That's why you. But then I figured out it wasn't my fault. She looked at him. You didn't put me in the most important place in your heart. And that wasn't my fault either. Logan could only nod. He couldn't say that's not true because it was. We shouldn't see each other again. She said it, then pulled her suitcase and walked past him. Logan watched her go. Nora dash, he called out. His legs moved before his brain did. He caught up to her at the bend in the road and blocked her path. I didn't come here to ask for forgiveness. His voice shook. 8 years. And I still don't know where I lost you. Nora looked at him for a long time. The wind blew her hair across her face. She didn't push it away. Logan. She said his name. It's because I realized no matter how hard I tried, how much I gave, how much I thought about you, you never saw me. I was right next to you. But you were always looking at someone else. And that made me feel like I didn't even exist. She took a breath. I don't want to feel like that anymore. Logan nodded. Wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I know. I messed up. And I see you now. You've changed. You look better than before. More alive. You don't need me to be happy. But Nora, I need you. You're the only person I've ever wanted to marry. He lifted his head. I'll wait. Doesn't matter where you go. Doesn't matter when you come back. Doesn't matter if you never look at me again. I'll wait. I'll focus on my company. Take care of myself. Actually, I live my life. And one day when you're tired, when you want to come back, you turn around, and I'll be right here. Nora didn't answer. She just quietly pulled her suitcase and walked past him. Logan stood there for a long time. He didn't chase her again. He knew she wasn't coming back. Because she'd finally learned how to love herself. But she hadn't said no. That thought held his nearly shattered heart together with a thread so thin it could break any. Second. Silence isn't always no. Sometimes it's just, I haven't decided yet. And for him, that was enough. Walking back to the car, his steps felt lighter. He sat in the driver's seat with his hands on the wheel for a long time. Then he remembered the bottle of sleeping pills in the glove compartment. He'd started having trouble sleeping 3 years after she left. Took the pills on and off. Thought on and off about swallowing the whole bottle if it ever got too bad. That thought was like an old friend. Knocked on his door every now and then. He'd gotten used to it. That old friend had knocked this morning too. But things are different now. Nora didn't say no. He believed it. He would wait. But not like before, like some dead man waiting to rot. This time, he'd actually live while he waited. Get himself together. So the next time she came back, she'd see someone different. Not the guy who could only say, "I'm sorry," but someone who could actually mean it when he said, "I'll always be here." He pulled out of the village and turned on the stereo. Her song. That old one. He hummed along for 2 lines, went flat, and laughed at himself. Tomorrow, he thought, I'll go to the office and finish that project that's been dragging. This weekend, I'll go back to Milbrook and help Uncle fix his roof. Move forward. Not just survive. Live. He was still smiling, hadn't even had time to stop when headlights from the oncoming lane blinded him. So bright. Bright like the afternoon he first saw her. Back then, he didn't even know her name. He just knew that girl. I want to know her. Brakes. Glass. The world flipped over. Someone was calling his name from very far away. He couldn't make it out. He tasted metal. I tried to reach for his phone. Couldn't find it. The light in front of him dimmed, slow, like someone pulling a curtain shut. How could he be this terrible? He'd just promised he'd wait for her, and now he was going to break it again. The end.
This is Listening Novel. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed today's story, please like and subscribe for more stories, and stay tuned for what's next.